وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين. Inshallah, today we will begin the tafsir of Surah Al-Ma'arij. Al-Ma'arij. The word Ma'arij is from the derivative of the word Araja, Ya'ruju, Ma'arij. You know what Araja is? Did any of you?
It was to sickness?
No. Do you know Isra wal Mi'raj? You know Isra, right? Wal Mi'raj. What is Isra wal Mi'raj? This is one of the greatest miracles of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, right? What about Isra wal Mi'raj? What happened in the Isra wal Mi'raj?
The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam ascended above the heavens.
So what is Isra and what is Mi'raj?
Isra is the night.
The night journey. So the night journey was from Mecca to Bayt al-Maqdis. In Surah al-Isra, Subhanalladhi asra bi'abdihi laylan min al-masjid al-haram ila al-masjid al-aqsa. So the Prophet, he made Isra, meaning he made the journey from Mecca to Bayt al-Maqdis on what?
On a
Burak.
yeah,
Right? On a Burak. And then from there, he did the ascension to the heaven. So Mi'raj is the ascension and Isra is the journey, right? So the word Mi'raj is Araja Ya'ruju, Mi'raj. From the derivative of the word Araja, which means to ascend. That's why the Most High mentioned as we move further in the surah, Ta'rujul Malaikatu ilayhi. The angels ascend to him, right? So the word Mi'raj or Ma'arif, it means the ascension stairs, meaning the stairs that someone ascend up and climb up to the heavens. You need something? Oh, okay. So the Most High said in the beginning of the surah, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سأل سائل بعذاب واقع. سأل سائل. I know you know the meaning of the word سأل. What is سأل?
like a question or something?
Yes, of course you do. Alright? We're working on the Arabic now. So سأل, you know su'al means question. So sa'ala is to question or to ask. But what is the difference between to ask and to question? What's the difference between asking and questioning?
When you need information and not when you're given information.
Alright.
No, asking and questioning is the same, except when you ask for a desire, and when you question like you're demanding.
You're demanding.
You're demanding.
So when you question somebody, it's like interrogation. You asking for information.
Demanding the information.
You asking to know. When you question somebody, you testing his knowledge, or you asking for an information. But ask is usually used for request, right? To make a request. I'm asking you for money. I'm not questioning you. When you question, it's a question about something, right? So like for example, but the word sa'ala can be used in both ways. Like amma yatasa'elun. What do they question one another about, right? Ani naba'il azim. Is it about the great chronicle? So here the Most High said sa'ala sa'ilun, meaning a questioner or an asker or a requester asks about a punishment that will strike. So if we use the word sa'ala here to refer to question, meaning they're asking about the punishment. But if we use it as asking, they are requesting for the punishment. I hope this is clear. So based on how you interpret sa'ala in this ayah will give a different tafsir of the ayah. So some of the scholars said the one who is asking here is Abu Jahl. He's asking for a punishment. I see the Most High mentioned in Surah Al-Anfal when he said, اللهم إن كان هذا هو الحق من عندك فأمطر علينا حجارة من السماء أو ائتنا بعذاب أليم. They said, oh Allah, if this, which means the Quran, is the truth from you, then send down the rain of wrath on us. I mean, does this make any sense? Or send against us a painful punishment. I think it should be the other way around. Oh Allah, if this is the truth from you, then guide us to it. Oh Allah, if this is the truth from you, then provide us with sustenance.
Like the people of Isa.
You understand? It's like exactly like the people of East. They ask for ma'idah, right? They ask for table spread. But you are asking for punishment. It doesn't make any sense. But this is telling you how, I mean, the level of their disbelief. The level of their disbelief. So he said, if this is the truth from you, then send down a punishment on me. So here the Messiah says, then he the Messiah said, meaning the punishment, if it descends upon the disbelievers, there is no one to repel it and push it away. And this is what happened on the day of the battle of Badr. They were disgraced. Abu Jahl was killed. Uqbah ibn Mu'ayyid was killed. All these worst enemies of Islam were killed on that day. The Prophet ﷺ came and he grabbed Abu Jahl and he said, oh, the Fir'aun of this ummah, Allah the Almighty has disgraced you. So we ask Allah the Almighty to make us amongst those who truly believe. Amen. Then he the Most High said, Min Allahi dhil ma'arij, meaning from Allah the Almighty is the owner of the ascension stairs. So the ascension stairs are the stairs that the angels climb up to the heavens. Because as all of you know, the Prophet ﷺ said there are angels who take turn in the evening and in the morning. They ascend the deeds of the believers up to the heavens. And some of them descend with whatever Allah the Almighty has decreed from the heaven to the ground, to the earth. He the Most High mentioned in Surah Al-Ma'arij, يُدَبِّرُ الْأَمْرَ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ إِلَى الْأَرْضِ ثُمَّ تَعْرُجُ إِلَيْهِ. Right? So the Most High, he decreed affairs from the heavens. And when he decreed affairs from the heavens, the angels bring those affairs down from the heavens to the ground. And they ascend with affairs from the ground to the heavens. So here the Most High said, تَعْرُجُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَالرُّوحُ إِلَيْهِ. He said the angels ascend to him, including the ruh. And now we are familiar with the ruh now, because we hear the ruh a lot, which is Jibril alayhi salatu wassalam. في يوم كان مقداره 50,000 سنة. He the Most High said, in a day, which the counting of that day is 50,000 years. Our scholars say the speed that the angels take when they ascend from the ground to the earth, if it's going to take any of us to ascend, it's going to take us 50,000 years to make that journey. So the journey that takes the angels one day, it will take us 50,000 years. So this is telling you how speed the angels are with regard to how fast they are and how quick they are. So they are very fast in their movement. So we ask Allah the Almighty to grant us understanding of the deen. Amen. Our noble scholar Imaam al-Qurtubi mentioned that Abdullah ibn Abbas said, I do not know. Allah the Almighty mentioned some numbers. Sometimes he mentioned 1,000 and sometimes he mentioned 50,000. He said, I do not know what he meant by those numbers, but what I will do, I will leave it like that and I will not interpret it. But again, some of the scholars of Tafsir, they interpreted based on their ijtihad. They said the counting, our counting of these days is going to be 50,000 years. I just said this is referred to the day of judgment. But again, it's the ijtihad of the scholars. But Abdullah ibn Abbas said, I am not going to make any comment on these numbers. However, I will leave it the way Allah the Almighty mentioned them in the Quran. So ask Allah the Almighty again to grant us understanding of the deen. Amen. Then He the Most High said, فَاصْبِرْ صَبْرًا جَمِيلًا. He's commanding the Prophet ﷺ saying, be patient with a beautiful patience. Be patient with what? Be patient with what the disbelievers are asking. They're asking for punishment. Don't rush. Because they're asking for for miracles. Don't rush. That's why in one of the surahs, which is Surah Al-An'am, the Prophet ﷺ was so concerned because these people keep asking for miracle. So Allah the Almighty said to the Prophet ﷺ, فَإِنِ اسْتَطَعْتَ أَن تَبْتَغِيَ نَفَقًا فِي الْأَرْضِ. If you're so concerned about them requesting for ayats, if you know that you can make a tunnel in the ground, or سُلَّمًا فِي السَّمَاءِ, or if you know that you have the way of climbing up to the heavens, فَتَأْتِيَهُمْ بِآيَةٍ, and bring them a sign, then do it. But you are not able to do that except if Allah the Almighty allowed that to happen. So Allah the Almighty said to the Prophet ﷺ, فَلَا تَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْجَاهِلِينَ, therefore do not be amongst the ignorant. So again, the people, they will continue to ask for miracle. But Allah is telling the Prophet ﷺ, be patient with a beautiful patience. إِنَّهُمْ يَرَوْنَهُ بَعِيدًا. Indeed, they see it to be far away. What are they seeing to be far? The day of judgment, right? Because they keep saying, وَيَقُولُونَ مَتَى هَذَا الْوَعْدُ إِن كُنْتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. When is this hour, when is this promise going to be if you are truthful in your claim? So Allah the Almighty is telling the Prophet ﷺ, saying, إِنَّهُمْ يَرَوْنَهُ بَعِيدًا. They see the hour to be very far off. وَنَرَاهُ قَرِيبًا. But we see the hour to be very near. Even the Prophet ﷺ, like I said, when giving us example about the hour, he said, وَإِذْتُ أَنَا وَالسَّاعَةَ كَهَاتَيْنِ. Between my message and the establishment of the hour is like the distance between the index finger and the middle finger. So the hour is very, very close. He the Most High said the hour is closer than the twinkling of an eye. And of course, this is relative, meaning to Allah the Almighty it is close, but to us it is very, very far. So He the Most High said, إِنَّهُمْ يَرَوْنَهُ بَعِيدًا وَنَرَاهُ قَرِيبًا يَوْمَ تَكُونُ السَّمَاءُ كَالْمُهْلِ. He the Most High said, when is the hour going to be? When the hour is established, what's going to happen? تَكُونُ السَّمَاءُ كَالْمُهْلِ. The sky will turn red like a molten copper. And we mentioned this again in our previous Tafsir. So the sky will turn red like a molten copper. وَتَكُونُ الْجِبَالُ كَالْإِهِنِ. And the mountains will turn like a cotton wool, meaning there will be no reality to the mountains anymore. You see the mountain as if there are mountains, but in reality, it is a mirage. When you touch it, it is as a cotton wool. So we ask Allah the Almighty once again to make us amongst those who believe and will die upon faith. Amen. وَلَا يَسْأَلُ حَمِيمٌ حَمِيمًا. He the Most High said, on the day of judgment, no close friend will ask about another close friend. Everybody is concerned about himself. Yesterday we mentioned that there are 3 occasions, as Aisha said, there are 3 occasions on the day of judgment when everybody will be concerned about himself. Do you remember these occasions? When you receive your book,
in your right hand,
yep,
crossing the Sirat,
crossing the Sirat,
and the scale.
and when the scale is being what? Weighed. Exactly. The Prophet ﷺ said, when the scale is being weighed, everybody is what? Nafsi, nafsi. When people are receiving their books, nafsi, nafsi. When people are crossing the Sirat, it's nafsi, nafsi. That is what he, the Messiah, meant in his statement in Surah Abbas, يَوْمَ يَفِرُّ الْمَرْءُ مِنْ أَخِيهِ. On the day when a man will run away from his brother. وَأُمِّهِ وَأَبِيهِ. And from his mother and from his father. I mean, could you imagine? You see your father and you're running away from your father. This is telling you how serious that day is. So here the Messiah said, يُبَصَّرُونَهُمْ. Even though they will see one another, you will see your father, you will see your mother, but you will still run away from them. يُبَصَّرُونَهُمْ يَوَدُّ الْمُجْرِمُ لَوْ يَفْتَدِي مِنْ عَذَابِ يَوْمِئِذٍ بِبَنِيهِ. Allah the Almighty said the criminal, the mujrim on that day will wish that he'll be able to ransom himself from the punishment of Allah the Almighty on that day, bibani, with his own children. So if he can give his children just to ransom himself from the punishment of Allah the Almighty, he will do it. وَصَاحِبَتِهِ وَأَخِيهِ. Allah the Almighty said, and his wives and his brother. وَفَصِيلَتِهِ الَّتِي تُؤْوِيهِ. And likewise, his family members who used to help him, shelter him, and support him, he will want to give them away just so that he will ransom himself with them. وَمَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا ثُمَّ يُنْجِيهِ. And likewise, he would wish that he could give up all those that are on the face of the earth just so that he will save himself from the punishment of Allah the Almighty, but this is not going to benefit him. On the day of judgment, the Prophet ﷺ said, the disbeliever will be brought, and he will say, oh Allah, I will take me back to the dunya. I will give up everything that I have in order to save myself. And Allah the Almighty will say to him, I have asked you for what is less than this, and you did not do it. Right? He the Most High asked us to give how much out of our money to for zakat? 2.5%, right? It's rubu al-ushr. Now rubu al-ushr is 1/4 of 1/10. So whatever you have, you divide it into 10, and then you divide it into 4, and you take one of it and give it away. But you did not do it. So now you are saying that Allah send me back to the dunya. If you send me to dunya, I will give everything that I have in order to save myself from the punishment, and that is not going to be accepted from him. He the Messiah said, Kalla. He said, this wish is not going to be given to him, it's not going to be granted. Innaha lava. Rather, he will be burned in the blazing fire. May the Almighty grant us protection from that. Amen. Nazza'atan lishawak. Allah the Almighty said, this blazing fire, it roasts the faces of the people. It roasts the skin of the people. Nazza, meaning it snatched it off. So when they are brought closer to the fire, it will peel all their skins off. Very rough. It's from the word an-nazi'ah. Like they said, وَالنَّازِعَاتِ غَرْقًا. The angels that pull out the spirit of the disbelievers with extreme. So we ask Allah the Almighty to protect us from that. Amen. So this fire will roast their face and pull everything out of their skin. تَدَعُوا مَنْ أَدْبَرَ وَتَوَلَّى وَجَمَعَ فَأَوْعَى. So Allah the Almighty is saying that this fire invites. It invites who? Those who turn their backs away from the truth. تَدْعُوا مَنْ أَدْبَرَ وَتَوَلَّى. And turn away from the truth. وَجَمَعَ فَأَوْعَى, and accumulated wealth, but they did not give the right of the wealth, rather they were stingy with it. So look at these qualities that Allah the Almighty mentioned. He mentioned about those who turn away from the truth, and also those who accumulate wealth, but they are stingy with it. So this indicates that stinginess can be the reason why a person will be burned in the hellfire. Because when you read various verses of the Quran, when you talk about people who end up in the hellfire, when they were asked, why did you end up in the hellfire? Some of what they say is, وَلَمْ نَكُ نُطْعِمُ الْمِسْكِينَ, right? وَكُنَّا نَخُوضُ مَعَ right? وَكُنَّا نَخُوضُ مَعَ الْخَائِضِينَ حَتَّى أَتَانَا الْيَقِينُ. So the point here is they used not to urge the feeding of the poor. And the Prophet ﷺ also mentioned in the hadith that is narrated by Ibn Majah in his Sunan, and our noble scholar Imam al-Qurtubi also mentioned this hadith in his interpretation of Surah al-Mu'minun. He said when Allah Almighty created the Garden of Eden, He told the angels to enter the Garden of Eden, and they entered and they saw the bounties that Allah Almighty has created in there, and they said that aflaha al-mu'minun, successful indeed are the believers. And then Allah Almighty commended the Jannah and said to Jannah, takallami, speak. And Jannah also said that aflaha al-mu'minun. Then Allah Almighty said, wa izzatik wa jalalik la yujawiruni fiki bakhir. He said, I swear by my might and my honor, the stingy person will not be next to me in Jannah, right? So again, this is telling us that stinginess is an evil trait that will set a barrier between an individual and Jannah. And the verses that talk about the consequences of those who are stingy with what Allah the Almighty gave them are many. May the Almighty protect us from stinginess. Amen. Alright. He the Most High then said, Innal insana khuliqa halu'a. So indeed, mankind is created impatiently. So man is part of the nature of human being to be hasty, right? So Allah the Almighty, when He created Adam, alayhi salatu wassalam, and blow the spirit in Adam, and the spirit started moving. Before it reached to his feet, Adam started to move. And Allah the Almighty mentioned, خُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ ajula. Indeed, mankind is created in hastiness. So the Prophet ﷺ said that hastiness is from the devil. So we ask Allah the Almighty to make us amongst those who are patient. Ameen. إِذَا مَسَّهُ الشَّرُّ جَزُوعًا. He the Most High said, when harm befalls man, he is weak and impatient. He's not able to withstand that harm. وَإِذَا مَسَّهُ الْخَيْرُ مَنُوعًا. But then when good and fortunes reach him, manu'an, he is being stingy and he withholds it and he does not want to share it with those who do not have it. Then He the Most High makes some exceptions. May the Almighty make us amongst those whom He has exempted. Amen. He said, إِلَّا الْمُصَلِّينَ, except for those who pray. But who are those who pray here? What type of attribute do they have? الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَى صَلَاتِهِمْ دَائِمُونَ. Those who pray constantly, meaning not those who they pray this week and next week. You don't see them in the masjid anymore. They stop praying. No, when you pray, you have to pray constantly. Prayer is not something that you do temporarily or you do it when you want to do it. So may the Almighty make us among those who are constant in their prayers. Amen. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَى صَلَاتِهِمْ دَائِمُونَ وَالَّذِينَ فِي أَمْوَالِهِمْ حَقٌّ whom in their money there is right that is known, meaning there is a known right that is for those who are poor. This is referring to those who give zakat of their wealth. And again, these are the same attributes that are mentioned in the beginning of Surah Al-Mu'minun. Here the Most High said, لِلسَّائِلِ وَالْمَحْرُومِ. They give the right of their money to those who ask, and those who are shy to ask. And these are the mahrum. Our scholars said mahrum are the poor people who do not want to ask due to shyness. And like we read about the hadith of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, even though he does not have anything to eat, he did not want to open his mouth and say to Abu Bakr, listen Abu Bakr, I'm hungry, do you have some food? He was hoping that the people will realize their situation and help them. So Allah the Almighty is saying that if you live with people, your brothers, make sure that you pay attention to people like this. If you know that somebody maybe lost their job and they're not working and they will need some help, give them before they ask. Do not wait till they come in and ask you. So we ask Allah the Almighty to make us among those who put these qualities into practice. Amen. وَالَّذِينَ يُصَدِّقُونَ بِيَوْمِ الدِّينِ. Here the Messiah then continue to tell us the qualities of those who are exempted from the hellfire and who are exempted from the traits of those who are impatient. He said, وَالَّذِينَ يُصَدِّقُونَ بِيَوْمِ الدِّينِ. These are those who believe in the day of judgment. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ مِنْ عَذَابِ رَبِّهِمْ مُشْفِقُونَ. Those who are afraid of the punishment of their Lord. Those who are afraid of the punishment of their Lord. So are we supposed to be afraid of Allah or afraid of His punishment? Which is which? Afraid of His punishment. So does that mean that we should not be afraid of Allah?
It's a different type of fear.
What is that? What is the difference?
The one fear is to fear the punishment of Allah, and the other fear is a more noble fear. Like,
Noble fear.
you know, you a fear like, I don't know.
If you read the Quran, Allah the Almighty, sometimes He attributes fear to Himself. And He will say, Fattaqullah, right? Fear Allah. And sometimes He attributes it to the hellfire. Fattaqul nar allati u'iddat lil kafirin. Fear the hellfire that is prepared for the disbelievers. And sometimes He attributes fear to His punishment, right? Fattaqu وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ مِنْ عَذَابِ رَبِّهِمْ mushfiqun, right? Those who are afraid of the punishment of their Lord. So our noble scholar Ibn Qayyim said, all this, when you fear Allah, like he mentioned here, when you fear Allah because you love Him and you have the honor of Allah the Almighty in your heart. You know, if somebody is dear to you, you don't want to do something to make him mad. Right? That is why our scholars said, do not look at how minor and how little the sin is, rather look at the greatness of the one whom you are sinning against. Right? So if somebody is great, you don't want to do something to make him angry. So you fear the wrath of Allah the Almighty. So all is okay. Like I said, we can say fear Allah, we can say fear the punishment of Allah, because fearing the punishment of Allah the Almighty is part of fearing Allah. Fearing the hellfire is part of fearing Allah. So here the Most High, He said, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ يُصَدِّقُونَ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ مِنْ عَذَابِ رَبِّهِمْ مُشْفِقُونَ إِنَّ عَذَابَ رَبِّهِمْ غَيْرُ مَأْمُونَ. Indeed, the punishment of your Lord or of their Lord is not something that is secure. So no one is secure. That is why Abu Bakr, whom the Prophet ﷺ gave glad tidings of Jannah, whom the Prophet ﷺ said to him, he said, لو كنت متخذا خليلا لاتخذت أبا بكر قليلا ولكن صاحبكم yes.
No, I figured out
How to put it together?
Yeah, I put it
Yes.
together.
All right.
No.
No, go ahead. What did you go ahead?
You know, fear is what in Arabic? Taqwa?
Taqwa. No.
Okay, so Allah mentions in a bunch of different verses tattaqun, but it's not always talking about those people who are fearful. Like our scholar, the Mufassirin, and a lot of the scholars in Islam, define muttaqun or the muttaqin to be those people who gain closeness to Allah by adhering to His dues and abstaining from His don'ts. So if you adhere to His dues and do good deeds, that's also a part of taqwa, even though you may not be fearful. And if you stay away from His don'ts, that could also lead to the other type of fearful because you fear for His punishment.
No, that is true.
So seeking a reward is fearful, and being afraid of
it's
the
also
punishment.
it's like you are afraid to lose His love, right? That by itself is a fear. You understand? Because losing His love will lead to inheriting His anger. So you cannot do without the other. So we always have to adhere to His dues to gain His love, right? And abstain from His don'ts to be protected from His wrath. Nah, beautiful. Jazakallahu khairan for sharing. Alright, so here the Most High said, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ. Again, those who preserve their chastity from the abomination of zina. إِلَّا عَلَى أَزْوَاجِهِمْ, except for their wives. أَوْ مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُهُمْ فَإِنَّهُمْ غَيْرُ مَلُومِينَ, or the possession of their right hand, for indeed these ones would not be blamed. فَمَنِ ابْتَغَى وَرَاءَ ذَلِكَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْعَادُونَ. But whosoever seeks to fulfill his desire in a way other than what is mentioned, then these are those who transgress the set limits of Allah the Almighty. May the Almighty not make us amongst them. Ameen. So if you look at it, He the Most High has mentioned that those who commit zina, they have transgressed the set limits of Allah the Almighty. And these are, like I said, these are the similar qualities Allah the Almighty mentioned in Surah Al-Mu'minun. And the Prophet ﷺ said, when this surah was revealed, as Umar ibn al-Khattab said, he said, we were in the presence of the Prophet ﷺ one day when the Prophet was receiving a revelation. And we used to know that the Prophet is receiving revelation because of the reverberation sound, like the buzzing sound that we hear that comes from the face of the Prophet ﷺ, like the buzzing sound of the bees, right? So we hear that sound coming from the face of this is how we can tell that the Prophet is receiving a revelation. So he said after a while, the Prophet turned to the direction of the Qibla, and then he raises his hands up, and then he started making dua, saying, Allahumma zidna wala tanqusna. So Allah increase us and do not decrease us. Wa akrimna wala tuhinna. And elevate us and do not humiliate us. Wa atina wala tahrimna. And give us and do not withhold from giving us. Then the Prophet said afterwards, لَقَدْ أُنزِلَ عَلَيَّ الْيَوْمِ عَشْرُ آيَاتٍ. So 10 verses are revealed to me today. مَنْ أَحْصَاهُنَّ دَخَلَ الْجَنَّةِ. Whoever put them into practice will enter Jannah. Then the Prophet ﷺ recited Surah Al-Mu'minun, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Successful indeed are the believers. الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Those who adopt tranquility in their praise. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ. Those who give the zakat of their money. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ. Those who shun vanity in general. Scholars say it's vain conversation. Others also said it is music in general. And then Allah the Almighty said, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ مُعْرِضُونَ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حافظون. Those who preserve their chastity. إِلَّا عَلَى أَزْوَاجِهِمْ أَوْ مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُهُمْ فَإِنَّهُمْ غَيْرُ مَلُومِينَ. فَمَنِ ابْتَغَى وَرَاءَ ذَلِكَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْعَادُونَ. To the end of the verses. So again, what I'm saying is I'm making a comparison between these qualities that Allah the Almighty mentioned in Surah Al-Ma'arij and the ones that are mentioned in the beginning of Surah Al-Mu'minun. And when Aisha was asked about the character of the Prophet ﷺ, she said his character is the Quran. In another narration, she said, do you read Surah Al-Mu'minun? And the Sahabi said, yes. And then she said, okay, that is the character of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So may the Almighty adorn us with these qualities. Ameen. Then he the Most High said afterwards, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِأَمَانَاتِهِمْ وَعَهْدِهِمْ رَاعُونَ. Those who keep their promises and their covenant, whether they make promises with the people or is their covenant within them and Allah the Almighty. What are some of the covenant that is between us and Allah? When you read Surah Al-Fatiha, what do you say? إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. When you say إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ, what does Allah say in reply? هَذَا بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَ عَبْدِي. This is a promise between me and my servant, right? It's a covenant that we make him. You alone we worship. That's why he the Messiah said, وَقَدَ رَبَّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. Right? He has decreed that we should not worship anyone but He alone. This is the ahad that Allah the Almighty took with us. He mentioned in Surah Al-A'raf, وَإِذْ أَخَذَ رَبُّكَ مِنْ بَنِي آدَمَ, right? مِنْ ظُهُورِهِمْ ذُرِّيَّتَهُمْ وَأَشْهَدَهُمْ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ أَلَسْتُ بِرَبِّكُمْ قَالُوا بَلَى شَهِدْنَا. So Allah the Almighty, as our scholars of Tafsir said, Allah the Almighty has taken this oath with us since we were in the lion of Adam alayhi salatu wassalam. He said, am I not your Lord? And we testify saying, yes, you are our Lord. So this is a covenant between us and Allah. The 5 daily prayers is a covenant between us and Allah. If you fulfill this covenant, Allah the Almighty will fulfill His covenant with you on the day of judgment and will admit you in Jannah. So may the Almighty make us among those who fulfill their covenants, not only with the people, but also with their Lord. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ بِشَهَادَاتِهِمْ قَائِمُونَ. These are those who are steadfast with their testimonies. They don't lie. They don't testify to false testimony. And false testimony is one of the major sins. Because when the Prophet ﷺ was talking about major sins, when he was addressing Shahadatul Zur, false testimony, he stood up and he repeated wa Shahadatul Zur, wa Shahadatul Zur. The companion said, to the point that we said, Ya laytahu sakit, we wish that he remained silent. But the Prophet was repeating this in order to emphasize on how serious it is. Because false testimony cost some people their lives. False testimony caused some people to be in prison for good. False testimony caused some people to lose their rights or give other people the right that they do not deserve. So may the Almighty, once again, we ask Him to protect us against these qualities. Amen. Then He the Most High said afterwards, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَى صَلَاتِهِمْ يُحَافِظُونَ. Those who preserve their prayers, أُولَٰئِكَ فِي جَنَّاتٍ مُكْرَمُونَ. All these people with these qualities will end up in Jannah. May the Almighty admit us in Jannah. Ameen. Mukramun, meaning they will be honored in Jannah. They will be honored by Allah the Almighty because of what they used to do in dunya. You can count all these qualities that Allah the Almighty mentioned here. Can we repeat? Can you rephrase some of them?
From Surah Al-Mu'minun?
No, from this surah. because I say it is always similar to the one in Surah. So if you know the ones in Mu'minun, you know the ones in this Surah. So what are some of the qualities we mentioned?
They have khushu' when they're praying.
They adapt tranquility in their praise.
When it comes to zakah, they're not stingy.
They give the right of their will.
Trustworthy.
They're trustworthy.
What's more are they doing again?
They shine, vain conversation.
Okay, yeah. So those people who mind their business.
They mind their business.
Guard the
That's
chest.
an easy way of saying it, right?
Yeah,
Those that shine, vain conversation. That's so much. Yes.
Guard the chest.
They guard their chastity, right? They preserve their chastity. What else?
They guard their tongue.
They guard their tongue. I mean, the Prophet ﷺ, as a matter of fact, he said, whoever would preserve what is between his two jaws and two thighs, I will guarantee Jannah for that individual. So, like you mentioned, they guard their tongue, even though that's not mentioned here, though. So
I know what you were thinking.
great. All right. So they keep their prayer, meaning they establish the 5 daily prayers on their right at their right time. So we ask Allah the Almighty to grant us protection from the punishment of the hellfire. Amen. I think we will stop here. If you have any question or any comment, we will take it to the best of our ability
I
now.
have a question. It's like, it's on topic, but it's off topic a little bit. So, when they mention the characteristics of the hypocrite, they mention the hypocrite is the one that delays their salat. So, when they say they delay the salat out of its time, or they just delay it, like, they wait until it's like, later into the time?
There's a narration that the Prophet said, the hypocrite will wait till when the prayer time is about to be over, he will come in, bang his head off like the way the chicken does, right? So, meaning they don't, so they don't give the prayer its right. You understand? There is a beginning of time and ending of time for each prayer. As long as you pray within this time frame, your prayer is valid and you are considered praying in time. I hope this is clear. However, it is preferable for us to pray every prayer at least in the beginning of the time. And for men, of course, the masjid is where we are supposed to be praying. So when the Prophet talked about the hypocrites, he said the most difficult prayer upon the hypocrites is Fajr and Isha. And then he said if they know the virtue in them, they would have come to the prayer even if they are to crawl. So this indicates that the Prophet is not referring to them praying at their home. He is reproaching them and censuring them because they're not coming to the masjid to pray. That's why they would have come to it even if they have to crawl to come to the masjid. So again, not coming to the masjid without any valid excuse or reason could be a sign from the signs of hypocrisy. Here the Messiah says, وَإِذَا قَامُوا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ قَامُوا كُسَالَى. When they rise up to pray, they rise up with laziness. When the Prophet ﷺ, when the time of prayer arrives, he will say to Bilal, فِيهَا جُعِلَتْ قُرَّةُ عَيْنِ. It is in the prayer that the pleasure of my eye is placed. Therefore, arihna bihaya Bilal. Let us have relaxation through prayer. Right? But with the hypocrites, they find is a burden on them. But the believer, if he did not pray, he feels heavy. Until when he prayed, he feels relieved. When the believer missed the prayer, if somebody is used to praying Fajr in the masjid or Isha, or even in the masjid in general, if he missed it and couldn't make it, he feels very what? He feels very heavy in his heart. So that is how it should be. Yes, so again, back to your question, this is talking to those, is referring to those either pray out of their time or wait till when the time of the prayer is very tight and then you pray very fast just to get over with it. Now, But if you pray within these two